Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel. It looks like it's pretty much decision time for the S&P 500 at this moment. Let's talk about it. So in the past couple of videos on the channel, being the FOMC minutes crash the markets, we've been talking about this pattern playing out, this potential diamond bottom formation. We've of course said that we do not believe this is going to break to the upside. This is just the name of the pattern, but nonetheless this is a diamond consolidation in which we've been predicting we're going to come down to this trend line, flip it as resistance and start breaking to the downside. I'll talk about my price targets in just one second. What's interesting is if we do come over to the 5-minute time frame, we've been looking at the 5-minute time frame quite a lot recently. Not normally something I do on this channel, but I do just want to point out what is happening as we do come down to this trend line. You can see over on the 5-minute time frame, since the 5th of January, we've been forming this pretty nasty bear flag, and we have started to fall beneath the floorboards of the bear flag at this moment in time. We're coming back up as I'm recording, and it looks like we're finding resistance at 3,830, which was previously in this big old range here, a huge level of support, big run up to the upside, and now we've broken beneath it, and it looks like we're flipping it as resistance while we are in this bear flag at this moment in time. So this isn't the main target that I really do want to point out to you, but the bear flag price target is actually all the way down here at 3,768. We'll talk about Bitcoin as well in just one second. This would be not a crazy drop, 1.59%. This would of course correlate to a relatively large drawdown for Bitcoin though, because of course, when Bitcoin finally does break to the downside of this, I do believe it's going to rush to the downside for a pretty quick move back down. Now, if we do pull out of the S&P 500 chart once again, just on the 4-hour time frame, really keep your eyes on this. If we do start breaking beneath 3,820 and solidly start falling beneath this level, especially if we backtest 3,820 and then start falling to the downside, it's going to be curtains for this S&P 500 chart. Now, my price target for the S&P 500 is actually on a different chart because that was the E-mini futures, and E-mini futures don't create as many gaps, or they don't create gaps over on the price chart too often, because S&P 500 is open less than the futures. So if we do come over to the S&P 500 chart, you can actually see the price gap that we've been talking about for quite a while. We really haven't started to move too much since my last prediction, and you can also see very similar pattern right now playing out with a larger 4-hour time frame bear flag playing out on the S&P 500. If we look at this price target, you can actually see this would be predicting a move all the way back down to the previous low that was established on the 13th of October. That is actually the bear market lows. Very interestingly, this bear flag price target will be predicting that we're coming all the way back down, which is approximately about an 8.3% move from this moment in time. It's personally not the price target that I'm looking for. I've been talking about this for a while, but there is a very nice price gap all the way down here that needs to be filled. Let me zoom in because I think I've fat fingered this a tiny bit. Not by too much, but there you go. There you can see right on par with this price gap down here. Like I've been predicting, I do think we are going to come down and fill this gap at 3,605. If we do start falling down for the S&P 500, keep your eyes on 3,800. If you start falling beneath 3,800, it's going to be curtains, and we're going to drop about 5.27% down to 3,606. Once again, for the E-mini futures, slightly different price target. But yeah, once again, keep your eyes on 3,822 if you're looking at the E-mini futures. I'm personally looking at both of these charts. Obviously, macro time frame, they do follow each other, but sometimes they have very slight divergences. Now, over on Bitcoin as well, there's really not too much to update since my last couple of videos, so I am going to fly through this, but we are, of course, still sitting in this bearish pennant in this moment in time. In the past few days, like we talked about, we pushed up to this red line, which correlates to the VPVR, where the most amount of volume was traded in this big old range that we're currently consolidating in. Now, I'm going to make a separate video talking about the higher time frames. We haven't looked at the higher time frames too much recently. There's really not too much to update in the lower time frame, so I'm not going to waste any of your time. But you can also see, you know, the stochastic RSI is turning up very strongly, and we have just popped over the overextended line, which is at 80 for the blue moving average. It's currently at 86. The last time we were over this line, we topped out at around about 100. So stochastic could push up a tiny bit further. It's possible we could push up to 17k before absolutely nuking through the floorboards. But like I said, I really don't think Bitcoin has much more than 100, 200, maybe 300, although unlikely in my opinion, move back up to the upside before we of course come down and start making our short very profitable all the way down at 15,200, which is the price target I've been talking about. You can see last time stochastic became this overextended. Of course, we got a little bit further to push up if we're this overextended, but this was right on the peak over here at 18,400, and right now we're becoming overextended at 16,800. So every time the bulls seem to be celebrating that we're having a rally, it's always from a lower price target. And then if we do come back and look at the previous times where the stochastic topped out, you can see a top over here and then pretty much a double top over here. So one top here, one top over here. The stochastic fully started topping out and capitulating at 21,400. So you can see this trend that keeps on playing out on the stochastic every single time we poke our head above this trend line. If you zoom back before this, stochastic as well is very, very euphoric. So a lot of the time when you're consolidating and chopping in a range, it's very, very good to tell you, hey, you know, we're going to break down here, and then this is the time to have a bounce, and then this is the time to break down again. But of course, now we're not in some big old consolidation range. We're in a relatively small bear flag, bearish pennant rather, that we've only been in for not even a month at this moment in time. And stochastic is turning up very strongly. S&P 500 is giving me the signals to let me know that we should be breaking through the floorboards of this pattern very, very soon. So just wanted to give you a quick update, and also in terms of the liquidity conditions, it looks like we're starting to have that baby bounce that we talked about. If you remember, if you do watch the channel and you look at my S&P 500 videos, we talk about the overextensions in terms of the mid price. You break down, you have a buyback, then you make new lows. You can see overextension in mid price, you break down, have a buyback, make new lows. Here you can see overextension in the mid price, break down, buyback, make new lows. And we talked about recently over here where the S&P 500 topped out quite recently. What was this? Was this a few weeks ago? Was this a month ago? It was round about here. Obviously, we had a liquidity grab, but we talked about liquidity conditions topping out over on the 28th. And this is what this peak over here is. Now, we've broken down. And of course, if we come down to the lower time frames, not too much to see at this moment in time, but we are having a slight buyback. In terms of the past week, we are shooting up in terms of contract sizes and liquidity for the S&P, which I do not believe is healthy. I don't believe we can sustain that. And of course, if we're looking at the chart right now, as we are heading down, as liquidity conditions are overextended, both Bitcoin and the S&P 500 look like they've got a decision to make. Once again, keep your eyes on this floorboards. It looks like it's going to be broken down and lost very, very soon. All I've got for you for this video, as always, my friends, if you do enjoy the content, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends, and if you do want more economic data, memes, charts, posts when I am away from YouTube, be sure to come over and follow me at 618_cowboy. All I've got for you for this video, cowboy out. Peace.